And we're back. So the thing about doing a live show is that you just roll with it. Whatever happens, you deal with it and you just keep moving forward. And that's what we teach at London Real Academy. And that's what I do. So we got Gloria back, thank goodness.
Yes, we're doing the same thing that Simon does when he put like every, guest, every passenger. You don't know what he's gonna get.
That's right. So, but we couldn't just leave the show without concluding it. And I have some more questions for Simon. So, my question for you, Simon, as we were just talking about, if you missed it, go to the episode before this one and see the beginning of this interview. But we were just talking about, before we jumped off of that one, investing in Africa. And so, I know that you help people invest in Africa, Simon. So, what are some tips that you can give for people who are considering doing that?
It's a good question. What I would say is this: you've got to decide what you're willing to, what you want to get out of it, and what you're willing to give. Some people don't want to come to Africa; they just want to have a connection. Other people want to come to Africa, but they just want to, they actually want to be employed and share their skills. Some people just want to live. They're kind of at the retirement age and those kind of things. And other people want to do the whole entrepreneur thing like I did, starting a business, understanding the market. The first thing I would say is decide who you're bringing with you and what their criteria is. That includes your own as well. So if you're a person who likes a hot climate, then that rules out certain countries in Africa, because regardless of what the TV shows, Africa's not hot everywhere all the year round. Like South Africa, certain places it gets very cold, and those things. Do you want to be by the sea? So you want that kind of LA feel, that kind of thing? Or are you a person who likes outdoor activities and want to be inland where mountain terrain, or you love the wildlife? You want to take the photos of the lions and all the rest of it.
That would be my life.
Taking pictures of lions.
Then you've got to think about what kind of business you want to do. Especially if you haven't done a business before, you need to know what kind of person you are. Do you like working indoors? Do you like working outdoors? Are you good with people? Be honest with yourself. Don't say you're good with people and you've got a short patience and a short temper, because it will manifest. If you're with these people who are good with business, but people never really kind of seem to gel with you, then you need to work on yourself a bit. Yeah. You also got to understand that different cultures, different things. Just because we do something in London a certain way doesn't mean they're meant to do that in Africa or anywhere. And also, Africa's very diverse. Nigeria's got over 300 languages. Kenya's got over 42 tribes, indigenous tribes, let's say. Most tribes have sub-tribes. So if you think about, if you're looking at that, sub-tribe has a different language as well. You're looking at nearly 100 languages. Yeah. And these things, these traditions and cultures go back older than Christ. So now you think of that, yeah, that's one thing. I'll give you a tip for this. Tribe is everything. Yeah. Tribe goes back to the dawn of time. So that's everything. Religion comes second, because religion is not as old as your tribe. Nationality always comes third, if not last. Reason being, because it's something that's usually being imposed on them by somebody else. Britain, France, Portugal, these countries have just formed. They've just formed these countries out of cutting, drawing lines and bringing it out their tribe. So once you can understand that, then you start to get an understanding of their politics. Yeah, because like, for instance, England, we have politics. It's all based on class, how much money you got and what your name is. America, you don't really have the same kind of politics as us, because everybody's just come up from somewhere else. Do you understand? Where I've met people in England, they say they can do their family back to King Henry VIII period. All those kind of things. So that means a lot to them. And the same way in Africa, their tribe means a lot to them. Now, some countries don't drive on the tribe so often, so that's something you take into consideration. Countries like South Africa, tribe means something, but it doesn't mean the same as it may do in other parts. They're more about nation. Tanzania is the same kind of mindset. I think Mozambique's quite similar. Africa's what 54 countries. It's a lot of countries there, and America, China, India, and Europe all landmass fit in Africa. Still room for other countries.
Wow.
To show you how small America is, really, America fits in the Sahara Desert, and there's still room for other countries. So when the colonials drew the maps of the world, they drew it in a way to manifest that they're great and this other continent isn't much. So that's just to give you an idea of the vast culture and understanding and the historical side of things. Opportunities wise, they're finding natural resources everywhere. Business wise, it's the fastest growing economy. It's got the 5 fastest growing economies on the planet. It has done for the last 10 years. So in essence, if you look at growth, when you're in America or Europe, you're usually making between 8 to 10% APR a year. In Africa, it's usually 15 to 25 or 25 to 35. It's a major difference. So even though the currencies are still worth less, the opportunity to earn a lot of growth is more than double. So, you look at all those kind of things, yeah. And if you can have a business where you don't necessarily have to be there all the time, as in you're employing the right staff, and you can set up a system. But a lot of people are doing this virtual now. They're in the apps. Business is all about apps. It's always about apps. So if you can set up an app for Africa climate, demographic of people, you're going to win, because everybody's got mobile phones. Doesn't matter whether you live in a nice big house or a mud hut. They all have mobile phones because their bank accounts are linked to their mobile phones. Your mobile number is your bank account. Do you see that? So you can send money.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they're way ahead of us in the Western sense.
Wow.
They're way ahead of us, because if you think about that does away with a lot of rubbish. So you can tell your children to go to the shop, they can pick up whatever they need, and then they just phone you and say, Mum, it's going to cost this, and they tell you a number. It's called a till number. You will pay to that till number. A receipt will come, a digital receipt will come to your phone. You can send that receipt to your child, and they show the shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper will allow the child to leave with the food, the goods. You don't have to worry about your child being mugged on the way home of their money, because they've got no money. It's all on their phone. If the phone gets stolen, the money's still okay, because you need a PIN code to get the money, to access a code. Do you see what I mean? Wow. But this goes back to
digital economy.
Yeah, this goes back to what I had a customer in the car, and he explained about, he's the same guy who used to work for Microsoft, about what they're doing looking at AI cities. And there's certain technologies that you cannot do in Europe because we're old cities, so it's not built for like taxi drones and all of these kind of things, but you can do these in these up and growing economies, mainly Africa. And most countries, especially sub-Saharan Africa, their population increases 1 million a year. That's 54 million people every year that population's increased by. That's why 2035, Africa will have the biggest population on the face of the earth. They're about going China,
it's around
India,
the corner.
All of that. And they've got the natural resources to back it. All they have to do is get their act together. Which will happen.
It'll all be Wakanda, all of it.
The older generation will die off. But also I'll say this, when it comes to tips for investing in Africa, and it has to be something that's spoken about. Obviously, there's corruption. There's corruption in every country. Yeah. All I say is this: don't be naive.
Yes.
If you meet somebody and they say, "Oh, I can help you with this. I can help you with that," find out what do they do in the first place.
Exactly.
Because if they're saying they can, but they haven't got a job, then they make money on hustling. Is that really somebody you want working with your life savings? Is that somebody you can really trust or got a good reputation, a CV? Don't get me wrong. There's certain people you're going to need to be able to talk to and know. But it's time. I think there's no rush. You've taken 30 or 20 years to build up your life savings. Why do you want to rush to spend it all? Take your time. Get to know the people. Apple is a prime example. Apple took 10 years before they launched their shop in China. And they said, we're going to do it right. And what they did, they made sure they knew everybody they needed to know. They understood all the politics. They knew who was important, who's not important. They just took their time. And they opened on that first day in China, and they sold out all of their goods on the first day. It was unbelievable. But yet, there's still another copycat Apple store that's nothing to do with Apple that opened up around a corner and was identical to them. So there's a certain element that you can't defeat everything, but you have to look at, I'm making money here anyway. But it's patience. You need patience.
Yes.
When it comes to investing in Africa. Otherwise, if you're going to come with that Western, like that New York, calling on the phone out, doing this, doing that, no. People take their time. There's an old African saying, only slaves have to worry about time.
Wow.
Wow,
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So
if I'm my own man, why do I need to worry? I'll do things when I'm ready.
Wow.
You see? So it's something to consider. But I would say we're all invested in Africa in one way or another through our technology, but it's a question of what end you want to be at. You're a consumer. I spoke to a guy who's a day trader the other day in the car, and he said, anything you use, you should invest in. So, for instance, if we all use mobile phones and laptops, we should invest in the mine that produces that natural material, the only mine in the world that produces that natural material that supplies us with that. Even if you're putting $10 a week, do you see what I mean? You're going to carry. There's no way anybody can tell me on this planet they're not going to be using mobile phones in years to come. We're all going to be using it. So why not invest in the mine? Buy some shares.
Wow, that's a hot tip.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense. Very practical. So Simon, before we wrap up the show, because we're coming to that time, I have a question for you about another show that you're doing with a bunch of really incredible and fun and fabulous podcasters. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, the podcast is Unleashed. Okay, that is 6 of us. We've all got our different shows. You've got women, you've got people. I just dropped some of the titles. You've got American Nelson. He's got invested in America. You've got a Nigerian guy. Yeah. So we're all from underneath Keir. In that respect, one of Keir's students.
Oh my baby.
Matilda.
Yeah,
Matilda. Women who's Coffee with Matilda. You got Women with Stories of Carla and Howla. She's going to tell me off for this. I always forget her and Nelson.
Carla's.
No, not Carla. Women with Stories. Oh, Wonder and Wellbeing. That's Carla. Sorry. So basically, you've got a wide, diverse. You've got the people who talk about investment. People who talk about the value of family. People just talk about emotions, feelings, touchy-feely stuff. All of those kind of things. And we all come together. We talk about subjects. We've talked about America. For instance, last week was America, talking about, is America still a a superpower. Is it a dying superpower? Sorry, because the average empire lasts for 200 to 250 years, and then it starts to dwindle. That's history. Yeah, it starts as it starts to shape. So is this time something that's just naturally occurring, regardless of Trump, regardless of all these situations, those kind of things? We're going to be talking about love. What is love? You know, the love I have for my children may be different love I have for my parents, different love I'd have for my wife, etc., etc. And so that's it's interesting. Then we talk about it's just a wide range of different things, and we all come about different aspects, and we rub shoulders at times, we conflict, but you know, it's amusing, it's spicy at times. We try and pick the right subjects. We look at it like this: if it's on your heart, then you're going to be the host, because you've got to make it interesting for everybody. We take turns in being the host, so every week it's a different person, and we also do like to go male, female, or female, male. But it's alternative, so it's not just dominated by any one gender and things like that. Yeah, so that's what we're about. We've been going for about 3 months now.
Awesome.
We're putting in work. We're going to up the game. But yeah, we can be listening. We do the live stream, so it's on StreamYard, and it's on YouTube and Facebook. And yeah, that's where we're heard. And it's Mondays at 7 p.m. GMT time and 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it's LA time, because that's where Nelson lives. He lives in LA. Yeah. So it's like that. It's proven that we're getting good, interesting feedback. Some people are a bit like, "Oh, you shouldn't have been talking about that," to some of our podcasters, and other people are like, "Oh, that was really interesting. I never knew about that." So what we've learned is you can't please all the people all the time. But like I said at the beginning, if it's something on your heart, you speak about it. The people who want to listen will listen. People don't want to listen will find something else. They may come back at a later time. But this is all thanks to the London Reel and obviously the lovely Keir, who's mentored us and been very patient and understanding and given us lots of time, lots of courage. So I'd suggest anybody, if you want to become a podcaster, you're not sure, by all means, jump on the London Reel course.
And ask for Kia, like your coach.
Thanks, Gloria.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it's been a great experience, and we're going to continue doing it. We've got specials like love subjects for coming up towards Valentine's. I was informed that Valentine's is coming up. I wasn't aware, but
Yeah.
but yeah, there's that kind of thing. And it's great for us personally because it opens our mind. You have to start to consider how other people would look at things, but you also get in depth of who you're speaking to, because as you find out, like some people may be a certain personality because they're their only child. Some people may, obviously there's things like people may look at things because of their ages or where they come from. But once you start to learn to understand people, then it's very hard not to be able to work with them. And I mean that in the sense that there was a guy, I'll probably finish with this, there's a guy on YouTube I heard, and he was saying his father never used to get angry with people. But when people used to do something that used to irritate him, he used to say, that man was a very silly man. That was a very silly thing that man done. Because if the man knew what I knew, he wouldn't have done that.
That's quite wise.
So it's foresight. If you can look at things, he clearly doesn't know what I know, otherwise he wouldn't have done that. So I have empathy and pity for him, but not in a patronizing way. And it's the same way I have a son who's 25, and someone explained to me, when your decision-making part of your mind doesn't fully develop until the age of 25. Now my patience and understanding has gone through the roof when it comes to my children, especially my son, because I look back since my firstborn, I look back at all the drama and why are you doing that? Why that's silly? well, his decision-making part of the brain hasn't fully developed. So he's going to make decisions based on his emotion, not on logic. So when you can understand that, you'll be like, he can't help it. Come here, son, let's give it. And you can work with him rather than losing it and just wanting to beat the hell out of him, kind of thing, you know, in that respect. Depending on what kind of parent you are, of course. But yeah, it's understanding. It's understanding. It makes life, things much more plain sailing. And from that, I've even been able to, some people come to me now and I mentor some of the younger people. So that's great. You know, especially when I get in a taxi, quite a few young people ask me, can I mentor or do I mentor? Which is actually a compliment for me, because it's showing that I'm actually, my listening skills are developing, because I'm being able to connect with who they are and how they're thinking.
I really hope you do mentor these people. You have clearly vast amounts of knowledge in a lot of different subjects, and you've dropped some definite gold here with us on Hot Topics Live. And I just got to say thank you so much for coming on today, Simon, and being a part of our 100th or /101 episode of Hot Topics Live, all the way from the UK. And we really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Sorry. Thank you for having me.
So
it's
much.
A great. Go ahead. No, I was just saying, thank you for having me. It's a great surprise when you actually put it out on the group that you wanted to interview me, and it meant a lot, because it actually shows that my work is not gone unnoticed, but it also shows I'm going down the right path. If you want to bring me on your 201,000 viewers. I'm not sure if I'm going to hit that mark, but
with you, we're gonna be 300.
Fingers crossed. Okay.
Yes.
Fingers
if we get
crossed.
to 300, we will send you a gift.
That's true. That's a great idea.
Okay.
So, and we'll invite you back. So, again, Simon has a great show. It is called Taxi Chronicles Podcast. You can catch it anywhere you listen to podcasts, and you can follow him on Instagram, and definitely do that. And now, is there anywhere else we can find you that I missed, Simon?
We've got Africa Investor Stories. That's the podcast where
Right,
it's all
the
about
original
investing in
podcast.
Africa. Yeah, it's the original podcast. It's not half as many episodes as the Taxi Chronicles, but that's something where I was just doing it. I was interviewing people. The basis of Taxi Chronicles, the basis of Africa Investor Stories podcast is this. From my experience, I do my own personal, I interview other people who've also invested in Africa. They tell their story, I ask them questions, and you get a real life view from a real investor. Slogans, real investors, real stories, telling you what it's like to invest in Africa. Would they do it again? What they've learned, what they wouldn't do, what they wish they had done, that kind of spell. And that gives you a good insight. So if you want to move there to Africa, to one of the countries, you can listen to those episodes and hear other people's experience. Or if you just want to set up business from a distance, I've got a guy who lives here in England, but he has a pig farm out there, and it's growing and growing and growing. So you can hear all those kind of stories. And then the idea is that I give a personal vlog every so often about an experience in Africa or military related that I applied in business out there.
That is awesome. And before we go, I want to say this, Simon. I hear you before that you said that you're not going to be driving a taxi forever. We understand that. But also the taxi is the one who give you the wisdom and everything about people give you. So in the future, when you don't need to work as a taxi driver, like you're in your leisure, you should create a taxi only for podcasts, and you put the cameras and everything inside. You just do that for 2-3 hours, and then you got your podcast.
It's funny you say that, Gloria, because I actually did say this is the taxiway is a way of networking. It's probably the best way of networking, because you know in your American movies they finally manage to get into some big billionaire's office or whatever, and he said, "All right, you got 2 minutes." That kind of thing to spill. in a taxi, you know, you've got 5 to 15 minutes with this person.
Yes.
And if you make a good impression, they're in a good mood, you get a connect. I've got over 300, well, nearly 300 emails or contacts from the time, just different people, different walks of life, from investors to the bankers to all these different kind of people. And even for my daughter who wants to be a pilot, I had 6 different pilots who were all saying that they take her in a plane, they give her guidance. Right now she wants to be a dentist, so I'm having to look at all the dentist people out there. But it's a great way of networking. And I really value my experience in doing this taxi. And that's a part of me says, when you move on, it will be nice to be able to just do this occasionally, like you said, Gloria, just to get some networking, meet some interesting people, hear some more stories, because the stories, our stories are who we are.
And if you're so more adventurous, you get your camera ready for live. So when the client, a passenger come in, you say this, and that, you will be able to go with me live, and the person will say, yes, let's do it. Boom.
The only problem with that is, Gloria, I'm more of a serious person, and that's when you start to get the reality show. People who play up for the mic without the video, and it's just audio. People are really sincere.
Yeah,
they're not worried about their looks. They're just relaxed and think. And there's also politics. If someone's in a bad mood and you start to film them, you know, they could complain to Uber, whoever. I didn't. What's this all about? All I wanted a taxi. I didn't want someone to shove a camera in my face. But if it's, you know, do you want to?
But you know what? You throw it there. You throw it there like you are military. You have different tools. So for the people who say yes, boom. And for the people say no, you continue podcasting.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. It's just that people play up. When the camera comes on, I've seen it. People start to play up. And it's not the line of what I want, that raw element. That raw,
that's awesome,
coming from the heart, and that's where we're sticking on. There's quite a few people, just to let you know, guys out there. I should have put the logo up here. My logo for Taxi Chronicles is a steering wheel with a picture of London through and a yellow background. There's a lot of Taxi Chronicles out there. None of them have as many episodes as me. I think the most I've seen is 8 on the podcast side, but on the YouTube, there's others that have a lot more than me. But they're all like acting. Like I said, we're not about the acting. It's about the audio, and it's the serious stories that hopefully improve your life.
Awesome. Well said, Simon. And on that note, it's a good moment to end.
Yes.
And I want to say thank you so much. And I know that your story has improved all of our lives today. Thank you for coming on. I'm going to put you in the green room if you have time to wait for us while we close the show. Awesome. We'll see you in a few minutes. If not, we totally understand, and we'll catch up with you again soon. Okay?
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, honey.
Wow. We had a lot of, problems, technical problems.
Well, that's what happens when you have a live show. You never know what's going to happen. So it keeps you on your toes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we say it in London, Rio, good.
Good. Thanks, Chaco. Good.
Good.
and now, if we have that problem again, we know how to solve it. So it's awesome.
Exactly.
Anyway, what do you think of that episode, honey?
It's a very cool episode because he's amazing person that he's like giving this knowledge and this job and this idea to create this podcast. And I found fascinated, like he said, it's raw. So it's nothing there like edit or anything like that. And personal, I like that way too. Like our hot topic is like that. We never plan anything, and we like to keep it like that because we don't want into the production and reproduction of that's not real. And we are always real, and we're gonna be real. So that's cool that he do it like that, like raw. Like us.
Absolutely. That's right. I love that. And if you listen to the show, you'll hear you'll hear that it's really authentic. People get vulnerable, and it's an amazing, amazing show. So if you have time to check it out and you need a new podcast to listen to, you should listen to that one because it's super interesting. Super interesting.
Totally.
Yeah. So, my love, our 101 episodes.
101 episode.
So we begin going into even more wonderful guests. We have
Yes.
somebody incredible coming. He was on our show last year. Alexandro Megas is coming back tomorrow night. And we're going to
Awesome.
talk about
That is awesome.
magic and growth and all sorts of really cool things to help everyone have a better 2021, right? And a better future for yourself, no matter what happens in the world around you.
Or a better present.
Yes, that's right. Well, it's all present, right?
Right.
What did Julian say? It's all one long now.
Yes.
Right now. Right now.
Right now.
So anyway, it's been amazing, but it's time for us to wrap up this show.
Yes.
You know, I'm Kia Baker, and I am the host and founder of the Female Veterans Podcast, as well as Women Warrior Stories for the Veterans Channel, and success coach at London Real Academy, where I get to coach amazing, amazing people, and where our fearless leader, Brian Rose, is running for mayor of London. So if you're there, maybe you might like his campaign and you might vote for him. Just saying. And I am always joined by an amazing woman. But before I tell you who that is, I'm going to remind you to set your notifications. And if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe and share. Hit that little notification bell so you know when we're live if YouTube is your preferred platform. And as always, we appreciate you and we love you and we thank you for watching. And let me tell you who's with me. So she is the most talented, inspirational, most enlightened, beautiful queen. And her name is
Gloria Goldberg. Well, I'm Gloria Goldberg, the founder of the podcast Unbreakable Life with Glory. We'll talk about depression, anxiety, PTSD, in natural way, in holistic way to always make you feel better. And also the host and the founder of the bilingual show, The Gloria, where I talk about also depression, anxiety, PTSD, in natural way, in a holistic way to always make you feel better, like always. And this Friday, I'm coming with a nice episode. He's an entrepreneur. He has 10,000 people in charge. He's a owner of an insurance company. So I coming with him because he told me how he left up his people when they are down. And when we are in the industry working in anything, a lot of people get down, get depressed, get anxiety because they cannot search for the goals or whatever they have in their lives. So he's coming to tell us how he talk to the people, how to lift them up and continue working with him. So I love that.
That's amazing. That's gonna be a good one.
Yes. So let's wrap it up. So thank you so much to be in Hot Topics today. Sorry for the inconvenience that we have today, but life is life and it's like that. And thank you for watching us. And if you see the replay, please hashtag replay and tell us where you see us and send us a comment and share, because that is the only way for us to help other people. And thank you for that support of 201,000 episodes this week. And I'm so happy.
Lots of views for that one. Lots of views.
Yes.
And if you haven't seen it, go and check it out on our Hot Topics Live Facebook page or on our YouTube channel, Hot Topics Live, and watch the episodes and catch up and find out all this incredible wisdom we're getting from all of these incredible people that are just real, authentic, and sharing how they feel and what they know. We love you guys.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching.
I love you guys. Bye-bye.